Hi, everybody.
Hi guys.
Chrissy and I are here to talk about content creation. So, content creation is fun. I like to do it. It's a creative outlet. Um, However, for those that make it their goal to be like a full-time content creator, it's not all that it's cracked up to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. You get to reach people, and especially if you just have like a drive or like people you want to help and things like that. It's great. But I guess we would preface it to say that there are pros and cons to everything.
Yeah,
Um and especially just in light of like with the recent changes to like TikTok
yeah.
and with the other sister, I guess, platforms that TikTok also owns.
Or eliminate.
Yeah, have kind of been affected with the changes that TikTok has made to, like, I guess, the privacy of the users and things like that. Um, so I mean, there's some give and take with that. I mean, one, of course, you want to be careful about what kinds of content that you may be posting,
Mm-hmm.
especially if it's something that's like very like political and
Right.
things like that, and you work for like a company or like a government agency and things like that. If it's something that's controversial, and unfortunately, it's like, look, that depends on who's viewing it.
Right.
Um, but that could be subjective as to who views it. But the thing is that if your job gets wind of it, and you work like a regular 9 to 5, you're doing the content creation on the side, that could impact your employment status with that company.
Yeah, or if put and then of course the not suitable for work content. You have to be careful of posting things like that.
Yes, I mean, it could make it, of course, easier now for even like your HR office to detect your content.
Yeah. And even if you didn't create that content, like just liking certain posts or leaving a comment on it or sharing it,
Hmm.
can affect you as well. But back to the whole content creation, we were saying the cons, another one is just that, you know, you have to, I mean, you're your own boss, but the algorithm, to my understanding, has been affected by those changes. And it's kind of been like affected as well on YouTube and I guess other social media platforms.
Hmm.
But if you're doing this full time, that's your bread and butter. So,
Hmm.
how are you going to make your coin if your content isn't getting reached to everybody like it used to, or if you're just starting out trying to do this, like if you, let's say you had a job and you quit your job and you're like, I'm going to pursue a career in content creation, but your content really isn't getting out there, what are you going to do then? If you do have an audience, with this whole algorithm being affected, you constantly have to keep pushing out content in order to stay within the algorithm. That can be stressful.
Yeah, and it's like with that, the income that you may receive, it's not steady, like Kendra was saying.
Right.
And so, maybe 1 month your content is like circulating, the algorithm is working in your favor, and coins is coming in. But
Right.
like, 2 to 6 months down the line, the algorithm changes, which it's always constantly changing on these platforms.
Right.
Um, it impacts your viewers, and then also like the likes and follows, whatever,
Yeah.
and so ultimately that affects your income. Which another thing, especially if you are doing it and you are, lucky and blessed enough to receive a sizable income from it,
Right.
definitely like save your money
Yeah.
regardless of, how things are looking right now, because nobody can foresee, what the trends and things like that are going to look like and how that will impact your
Because
content.
it changes all the time. I
Yeah.
mean, you look, YouTube has been a thing since I think 2005, and I mean, we've been, viewers of YouTube for that long, since YouTube was a thing, and you
Hmm.
see how the trends have changed over the years.
Mhm.
So, and then it's like content creators that we knew like years ago, some of them aren't even on the platform anymore because of that.
Right.
They pursued other things, or if they still create, like the views and likes is not what it used to be for them. So that's
Mhm.
something to consider. It was something else I was going to say about that. Yeah, like what Christy was saying, if you do get some good income, save, save, save. Don't, try to floss
Right.
and things like that, because what Christy was saying, the algorithm changes all the time. So it's like you got to pay your bills. And that's something not all the content creators, but a lot of people, they don't think about that.
Yeah, and they make, like life decisions based off of the income that they may be making currently.
Right.
And it's like your income and everything may not look the same like maybe 6 months to a year from now.
Exactly.
So you have like a sizable, mortgage or rent to pay, but your viewership is not what it used to be,
Right.
and so, but at the same time, it's like, those bills that you have now created for yourself, that's not going to change based off of, the
Right.
income that you are now receiving, which is like sizably decreased.
And see, not all content creators are like this, but a good majority of them all are. But a lot of them that are blessed to do this full time, some of them that have been doing it for so long, they feel like they're too good to get a traditional job, go
Mm-hmm.
back out to get a traditional job. And there's nothing wrong with working a traditional job. Because there's some content creators that we watch that, have huge followings and things like that. And they had to go back to work themselves. Like they had, when they was getting, getting popular, they left their job to do this full time, but then they had to go back to their job and do content creation on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And that's smart to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. And then you also have to consider with healthcare, because as a content creator, you don't have health insurance, benefits, 401ks, all of that. And that's serious. Like, when you're young, you don't think about things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But as you get older, your body changes and things like that. And you need healthcare.
Yeah, and it's like once you hit in your 30s and above,
Yeah.
it's like a car when you got to go take it in for a mechanic. It's always something breaking down. So
Yeah.
yeah, you got to take care of yourself. You got to have the health care and things like that in place. And it's very sad and disheartening because there's a lot of content creators that have passed away within the
Yeah.
past, I would say, like maybe like 6 months to a year,
Yep.
that have passed away. And people would think just because they had like a huge following that they had health care,
No.
but a lot of them, they were very open and transparent, and they were saying that they didn't have health care,
Yep.
and they were being treated for serious things that were terminal.
They did have, yeah, and they, like we said, it didn't have benefits. Unfortunately, some of them, their family had to post, GoFundmes for their burial.
Yeah.
So that's something, um, you need to think about if you're, wanting to pursue this full time. It's a lot. I mean, it's a blessing. It's fun to be able to do that. You get, brand deals, you get to travel, go to different events, but also, like I said, you got to look at the cons. And there's a lot of cons with content creation that I think a lot of people don't think about. They just look at the glitz and glams
Hmm.
of it. But, a lot of content creators, the real popular ones, a lot of them aren't even really happy.
Yeah, and you see, like later on, like in their career, they admit that, and I mean, it's just, it's part of the human condition, but at some point, people, they get down and just
Hmm.
life be lifing.
Right.
And it's like, regardless of, maybe the amount of money and, followers, viewers that you have, or whatever, life happens to everybody.
Right.
You lose loved ones, you have health challenges,
Yeah.
mental health challenges, and it's just life happens. And and the thing is with that, it's like when you're up there like with like content creation, it's like everybody wants a piece of you and things
Mm-hmm.
like that. And it's, so at that point, it becomes very lonely for some people, I
You're right.
think, because they don't know who sincerely is really wanting to befriend them just to be their friend rather than what they can get from them.
Right.
So,
And a lot of
yeah.
content creators have spoke out on that. A lot of them that may have found love, they got a girlfriend or a boyfriend, or they got married, and then like a year, 2 years, or 3 years down the line, you don't see their significant other, and they're like, we broke up, we got a divorce, I found out that they were using me for clout. And then of course, because they have that huge following, everyone's open their business. Then you have other content creators talking about their business, the drama, making content off of their situation. So it's like everybody know what's going on.
Yeah, so that's another thing. If you do decide to be, within that, just I would say, and you ain't gotta listen to me, but this is your big sister, your auntie, telling you that I would keep my love life out of people's business.
Yeah,
They
your
don't need to know.
personal. Cause see, I think too with some of content creators, and that's the sad thing, because a lot of them, they know that, like we were saying earlier, the algorithm and things have changed, trends have changed, so they go doing they what I say, grifters,
Yeah.
they grift into other things to get views, and sometimes they're like, the more I share, like my personal life, the more views I'm going to get. And it's just like, that's not smart to do. A lot of content creators have done that, and then somebody, like I said, was cheating or something. Something may have happened, and then everybody knows about it, and then they're going on their videos or live to discuss what happened. And it's like, I just feel like, keep your personal life to yourself and your family. People don't need to see that. If you are a content creator, like a gamer, or you do fashion or whatever, just stick to that. We don't need to see, your husband, your wife, your children. We don't need to see all that.
Your great great grandmother.
Yeah, like, you don't need to share what's going on, but I know a lot of them do it so they can get more views, unfortunately.
But see, the thing is, the danger in that is that unfortunately, with the content creation, it's like 1 minute people love you, the next minute
That
they
too.
hate you, and it's like whatever you have posted in the past, it can and at some point will or may be used against you.
Yeah, and that's happened. Like Christy was just saying, that happened a lot to a lot of content creators that we used to watch, and people dug up things like old. Well, now it's called X, formerly known as Twitter, but they pulled up a lot of tweets and things that they may have said, and it's just like, and then they get canceled, and it's just, yeah. So
And so at that point, now you kind of it's kind of like, and this is the other thing too, like when there's any kind of controversies and things like that that are all on the internet because people have shared their personal business, everybody has like the same generic statement, you know, um, our family's going through personal whatever at this time, please respect our privacy.
yeah,
Sweetheart, you've been sharing everything up until this moment,
yeah,
and now you want privacy.
right.
And I'm like this. I absolutely agree that you should have your privacy, but at the same time, when you let people into your family,
That's what it comes with the territory.
that's when they felt entitled to see and hear anything that's happening with your family,
Right.
good, bad, and ugly.
Right. It comes with the territory. So I would just say, I don't think there's anything wrong with content creation, because I mean, Kirsty and I, we post, on YouTube and stuff like that. And it's just a creative outlet for me. Like I tell Kirsty all the time, like when we vlog, I just like to look at it for memories. I don't know if that's for other people that do it, but for me, it's just like memories. It's therapeutic to me, like editing videos, photos, and stuff like that. So it's not like our goal is to get monetized and do this full time. I never, wanted to do that.
No.
I never wanted to do that. So, because that's another thing too, like um with some of these big YouTubers and things like that, or TikTokers or people on IG or whatever, sometimes you get those obsessed fans stalking and things like that. It's like, no, I'm good. I don't want to deal with that.
No.
So For me, it's just something therapeutic. I don't think it's anything wrong with content creation, but as your auntie speaking, you just have to be smart about it and just be realistic and know that there are cons with it. And honestly, my advice, and I think Christy would agree to it too, if you do get some money from it, that's great, but save and also keep your full-time job. Do this as part-time on the side. I'm serious.
Yeah,
Cuz
to
you
supplement your income.
yeah, to supplement your income because you just don't know what can happen. And like Christy was saying, and benefits, your health care, you need all that.
Yeah, because when you take off, um, that's content that you are missing out of, and that you are missing out of like for a paycheck.
Right.
So, whereas like if you had like a full time job with benefits, you accrue leave and things like
Right.
that. But it's like, and that's the other thing with the content creation, it's like the creator, they kind of get into this loop where they have to just and it's because of consistency that they
Right.
have to continue to pump out content, but then you get burnt out.
And it doesn't become fun anymore.
No.
That's the thing. But also too, um if you are able, like I said, you're a content creator, and if it does take off to where you get brand deals and things like that, you have a large following, another word of advice, pursue something else outside of that instead of just posting videos. Like, start a business, like use that as a stepping stone to create like a skincare line, whatever you're into, fashion line, like food, something to, because people get stuck with that, like for YouTube and things like that. And like we were saying beginning, like trends and things change. So it's like I would pursue something else, have like a business on the side. So that way,
backup to your backup.
yeah, back up to your backup, and you getting coins steadily coming in. But I think that's all I had to say on that. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to add.
No, I can't think of anything else.
Oh, lastly, before we close and I'll wrap it up, if you are blessed enough to do that, always, especially if you're a believer, keep God first and thank Him for that, because He gave you that platform for a reason. Don't stray away from Him and lose your morals and all that for that internet clout. Keep Him first. Share His word. Stay humble, because He blessed you with that. And if it wasn't for Him, you wouldn't have that platform. People, genuine supporters that been there for you day one, be nice, be kind to them.
Yeah, don't get on your high horse thinking that snubbing your nose at people.
Right, because people can always unfollow and not tune in, and you will fade away.
From you, yeah.
So that's all we have to say about that. And until next time, bye.